Hey guys, it's me. I'm back again to talk about music again. This time, top 10 songs of 2015. Like most of the time, there are some rules here. One of which is the even if it became popular during this year, if it came out last year, it's off the list. Also, it can't be on an album from albums of the year. Also, just as a rule of thumb, it has to have lyrics. I know that's a weird one to throw out, but with awesome people out there like Lindsey Sterling, it still needs to be said. Anyway, let's move on to the actual list, or should I say the honorable mention, because yes, I have an honorable mention in this category too. That one being Middle of Starting Over by Sabrina Carpenter. Yes, the girl from Girl Meets World, the best friend Maya. She actually is a really good singer. She even sings the theme song to that show. But Mill Starting Over is just a really good song overall and is very universal. It's like ageless. It's about starting over after going through a bad time. It's kind of vague enough to apply to many different situations, but it's still a catchy tune, and Miss Sabrina has a good voice that lends to the song. It would be number 11 if I did top 11, but I don't, so it's only an honorable mention. Alright, let's move on to the actual list with number 10, Girl in a Country Song by Maddie and Tay. See, I like country. Well, I like specific types of country, like when it gets really good. Um, Lately, country has been more, well, as Todd in the Shadows puts it, bro country, with people like Florida Georgia Line, stuff like that. But there are a few good country here and there. And speaking of bro country, though, Girl in a Country Song addresses that trend of bro country and girls just being eye candy in the music videos. And this addresses it and says, no, we will not just be girls in a country song, which is awesome. Great to see some empowerment, but also great to see some good country that isn't like bro country or woe is me country. And Maddie and Tay, their voices blend really well. And this is a good, fun song that's not your typical country, and I'm glad. Okay, let's move on to number 9, Love Myself by Haley Steinfeld. I was weary when I heard that the awesome girl from True Grit was entering the pop world. Then I heard her debut single, Love Myself. And this is actually a really good pop song that is self empowering with a very catchy chorus and Haley Steinfeld with a surprisingly good voice. So much so that she is the new girl in Pitch Perfect 2, which you know I also like. This is just a good song on its own about self empowerment. Anyway, let's move on to number 8, Let It Go by James Bay. No, this is not the Frozen song, it just has the same name. This song is a cool, minimalistic song about a guy basically breaking up with a girl. Like, this song is the breakup. Like, saying why they're breaking up and why they need to just let it go. Which, quick side note, for some reason this year was the year of breakup songs. Songs that talked about breakups, songs that talked about breaking up. I mean, I've got a couple breakup songs on this top 10, and there are a few that hit the charts that were about breakups. Two of the biggest ones being Hello and Hotline Blink. But anyway, Let It Go is just James Bay, and for most of the song, his guitar, which I like when songs get minimalistic sometimes. You really get to see how good the singer is. You get to hear the emotion in their voice. And that is something that Mr. Bay is good at. Alright, move on to Believe by Mumford and Sons. You guys should know by now that I'm a fan of Mumford and Sons. And this is a really good song by them. This is like on the verge of breakup type song, where he's just basically like, say something like you love me. I don't even know if I believe what you're trying to say to me. So open up my eyes and tell me I'm alive. Really cool. Plus, the song is unique in the breakup related songs. It starts off minimalistic, but then builds and uses all the instruments that Mumford and Son is known for. And it's just a really good song overall. So let's move on to number 6, Love Me or Leave Me by Little Mix. Alright, before I get into this song, I have to get into something real quick. When it comes to music, typically when you're looking at songs nowadays, you just look at the singles. But I found that when you delve into the album, you can find really good songs that just never get radio play for one reason or another. Like this one, which is by Little Mix. Which, if you don't know Little Mix, I believe, like a lot of people from my albums list and One Direction, they got their start on a reality show. I think it might even be the same one that One Direction came from. But anyway, I prefer these ladies over One Direction. They're just four lovely ladies with really good voice. But their album is just filled with like poppy bubblegum pop stuff where you don't really get to see their worth. That is, except for Love Me or Leave Me, which Mike Mumford and Sons believe is a song about being on the verge of breaking up, where they're just basically like, tell me you love me or just go. And these four ladies get to do something that they don't really get to do on the album too much. And that is show how good they are at singing and show their good voices. Because this is a very minimalistic instrumental. And you really get to hear these ladies belt it out and harmonize and do all the stuff that they're good at, but you don't really get to see in the album. That's why you gotta delve deep into it to find this gem. Anyway, let's move on to another song involving a breakup. This one after the breakup with number 5, Ship to Wreck by Florence and the Machine. I love Florence and the Machines. They're good indie sound with orchestral notes, with Florence Welch's great vocals. And she really gets to show off her vocals in this painfully honest song about looking over a breakup and thinking back on, was it set up to fail from the beginning and was it all my fault? But still, in Florence and the Machine's type fashion, you get all that emotion and all that honesty, but with an up tempo song at the same time, which is hard to do, but they do it. Alright, let's move on to number 4, Breathe In, Breathe Out by Hilary Duff. This definitely was the year of the Duff last year because we got a new album by Hilary Duff, plus she co starred in a new show, Younger, which, like I briefly mentioned in my TV shows list, barely didn't make my top 10. Back to the song itself, like Ship to Wreck, this is a post breakup song where it's about trying to build yourself back up after a breakup and saying breathe in, breathe out, and fake it until you can actually believe it because things are going to be alright. But and it's a good message. Hilary Duff back in stride with really good vocals. But also, this has a really 90s feel, but in a good way, like 90s pop inspired. Kind of like how Adele does like 50s inspired stuff. This is like 90s inspired. But it's a really catchy song that I believe should have been a single. But anyway, let's move on to number 3, Feet Don't Fail Me Now by Foxes. Ever since I heard her in that Zed song Clarity, I have loved Foxes. She's got an awesome, unique voice and really good control over it. And she does really good, kind of like Carly Rae Jepsen's last album. She has kind of 80s synth inspired pop, but she was doing it long before Carly. But Feet Don't Fail Me Now is a really good song about having to get away from a situation, realizing that it's bad, not just a breakup. Because I'm done with breakup songs. This isn't about a breakup. This is about like a bad situation in general that you need to get out of. And really catchy song. Anyway, let's move on to number 2, Growing Up, in parentheses, Sloane's song by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis featuring Ed Sheeran. Wow, this song. You get great vocals by Ed Sheeran, as always, and you get great rapping by Macklemore, and some really good kind of folksy pop instrumentals done by Mr. Ryan Lewis. But here's the twist to the whole thing. It's a song about a subject that we rarely hear about, and that's the fear of becoming a father for the first time. Because Mr. Macklemore wrote this while his wife was pregnant with their first child. And it's just a really good song where he's talking about how he wants to spoil her, but not too much, like on her 16th birthday, get her a bus pass, and not let the fame get to him while raising her, and also trying to be there as much in her life while at the same time being a musician and going on tour and all that. And also with Ed Sheeran's part, it explores the fact that being afraid of how to be a good parent and raise the kid while you yourself are still growing up. And it's just good emotional song by three awesome people about a very sensitive and personal subject for one of three. Alright, let's move on to the number one, Roses and Violets by Alexander Jean. Jean? I don't know. Anyway, this song, it's done by an indie group that's two people. One who does the instrumentals, one who does the singing. And I hate to say this, but I had no clue about this song until I saw it while watching part of the Dancing with the Stars finale. But once hearing it there, I had to look it up and listen to the whole thing in the studio, and I fell in love with it. It's just an awesome, poetic song about being in love, and it's kind of weird that the song is poetic, but it's also called Roses and Violets because it takes inspiration from the most iconic, overused poem out there. Roses are red, violets are blue. Da 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 da. In this case of this song, it's roses are red, violets are blue. I was meant to be with you. But just the way that Miss, I think they said her name was BC Jean, or just, I'll just call her Miss Jean. The way Miss Jean sings it and portrays it, you get the sincerity of her voice. She actually has really good vocals. And then the other half, the Alexander half, I think. Anyway, the instrumentalist guy, he is really good. Like, this is some really good piano work. Like, it's not just your typical or like doing the four chords of pop music. If you don't know that, look that up. It's some really good, kind of complex piano work paired with her awesome vocals, with some very poetic lyrics on top of all of that. And believe it or not, this is actually their debut like song ever. Like I looked them up and there's basically no info about them except for that they went on Dancing with the Stars and this is their first song. And that they're a duo, one half does the vocals, one half does the instruments. But if this is their debut, I can't wait to see what else they bring. They're both awesome. And I'm starting to repeat myself, so I will stop it there. Thank you for joining me on this ever delayed long journey of doing my annual top 10s. Very soon, I will be getting back to what I normally do with reviews, normal top 10s. I want to get back to team challenges, Supergirl reviews, which, sorry I skipped one. I basically worked so long on editing that beast of a top 10 that was my movies that I ended up watching Supergirl late, and then I didn't want to record so late, and then the next day I thought it was too late to do a video, and blah blah blah. I'll give my opinions on that episode when I review the next episode, which, thank my lucky stars, they actually skipped a week so I could catch up. And also, If all goes according to plan, I will start reviewing the new show coming out in less than a week from recording day, Legends of Tomorrow. Also, I got a few other surprises here and there, some very soon, just tiny bit different from what I normally do. Hopefully, you like that as well. But that's all for a later date. Till then, see ya. Bye.